Hello everyone and welcome to Ferris Sports Update on the Bulldog Sports Network. I'm your host Rob Bentley, and today we'll talk Bulldog men's basketball. Joining me today is assistant coach Ed Douma. Coach, great to have you with us today. The Bulldogs currently at 16-5 overall, leading the GLIAC North Division at 12-2. You've won 8 games in a row. I know you've put yourselves in good position, but still some work to do with 5 games left here in the regular season.
Absolutely, Rob. It's been exciting so far, but the big thing is we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, and the cliche, of course, take a game at a time, and we have 2 big games this week.
Coach, I know you've had an 8-game winning streak that's still going on going into this trip to Ohio this week. What have been some of the keys to success in that 8-game winning streak?
Well, pretty much the same thing we started out with this year. We talked all year about making sure that our defense was a little bit more solid than last year, and that we rebound the ball well. And if you look at our statistics, we're right up there in the top in the league in both those areas.
Coach, let's go back to January 29th, the 131 Showdown at Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. It was a great night for Bulldog basketball, over 5,800 fans on hand at Van Andel Arena, and a great win for your basketball team in overtime, a thriller over Grand Valley.
It was, it was a game really up to that point. Not that we didn't have some good wins, but we really hadn't beaten a good team, a really good team, and the Grand Valley game was a huge key for us, especially since it was their home game and since it was for first place. So we played exceptionally well, very hard. It was a beautiful basketball game, a lot of ebb and flow, and of course we made a couple extra plays right at the end to win it.
Talk about how big of an event that is for Ferris State University to be in the Grand Rapids area and play that game in front of that crowd.
Well, I think it's huge. Of course I was in Grand Rapids for a long time at another college, and it always seemed like Ferris just didn't get quite the same attention Grand Valley, and so even though the Grand Rapids Press covers both teams, we just never seemed to get quite the same coverage. And to be able to go down there and play them on their floor, in their arena, lots of fans, and of course we probably had half the fans, which was a real comfort and a real exciting thing, and then to win was huge.
Talk about the play of your senior class, Justin Keenan making his return to Grand Rapids in the 131 Showdown. Obviously, everybody knows who he is. Darian Gay, an all-conference selection. A lot of people know a lot about him, but the play of your other 2 seniors, Lou Williams and Matt DeHart, has been big as well.
Well, we wouldn't be where we are, obviously. 8 straight wins. Lou has been huge. He's probably played his best basketball ever here in the last 7-8 games. He does all the dirty work. He blocks a couple extra shots. He gets an extra defensive possession. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds and a lot of traffic. And then DeHart, has just been playing exceptionally well. He's a great 3-point shooter, but he also makes a lot of hustle plays. And in that particular game, I think there was an offensive rebound on one of our missed free throws when it was like a 2-point game. We got an extra possession there, and then ended up with 2 more points, and that kind of salted it away.
Your team is unbeaten at home, 10-0 at home. What have been some of the keys to success here at home, and how big of is that to have a home court advantage like that?
Well, I think everybody, if you're going to win a championship, they always talk about you have to protect your home court and then get as many wins on the road as possible. And we've done that. We've talked about that from the beginning of the year. It's not that easy to do necessarily. We've had good fan support, and we're in a comfort zone. We're there. We seem to shoot the ball a little bit better. So yeah, that's an important cog if we're going to get where we're going to go, which is where we want to get to the league championship. We're going to have to continue that. We've got 3 big games after these 2 on the road at home.
This past weekend you went to Lake Superior. You were able to pull out a close road win. You came back home on Saturday against Saginaw Valley in another close game that went to the wire. You guys were able to pull that out as well. Discuss the play in those games this past weekend.
I think both those games are games that last year we probably wouldn't have won those games. The Lake Superior game, the game after the game, the big game against Grand Valley. Then the next game, if you look at any teams playing, that's a great game that they get beat in. And we played pretty flat. We were down by 9 with maybe 7 minutes on the clock, and then showed a lot of grit and came out with more tenacity, forced a couple of turnovers, made some big shots, and it was a game that good teams win on the road. A game where you're not at your sharpest, but you're still able to manage to win somehow. And then the Saginaw Valley game was a little bit the same. We probably should have really won that game by maybe 7 or 8 points. We did make a few miscues down the stretch that cost us a little bit. But that's a good team. They got some players back at mid-semester. They were like 6-2 coming into that game, and it was right now this particular team with 4 seniors and a junior starting, even though that they've played a lot of games, they have never really been in this situation, which is now we're the hunted, and regardless of who we play, it's it's going to be a battle. It's their biggest game.
Talk about this week's games. You travel to Ohio this week to take on Lake Erie, first ever meeting against the Lake Erie Storm. Then you've got a game at Ashland on Saturday. 2 games, maybe you're the favorites to win, but always tough to win, as you mentioned, on the road in the conference.
Well, it is, and the Lake Erie game, even though they're new to the league, for them now we're coming in as the top team in the North. That could be a signature win for them. And they're playing a little bit better all the time. They're one of the better teams defensively in the league. They hold people in the 60s. So defensively they're pretty good. They've got a nice kid named Ethan Bradshaw that's a good scorer. It really doesn't make any difference. Every game, having done this for many years, is pretty tough and is losable, let's say. They're winnable, but if you don't come to play, they're also losable. And then Ashland has been a better team lately. They've won 3 or 4 games of their last 5 maybe, and they've got a big kid named Cale Richardson. They've got a couple of really good athletes. So that'll be a tough game also.
You had a big win this past week in the 1,000th win in program history on Saturday against Saginaw Valley. What does it mean to the Bulldog basketball program to be able to win that 1,000th game?
Well, I don't think that the players so much understand the whole deal, but it's significant in the fact that it shows that we've been playing basketball for a long time here, playing it successfully, have some history, and I think there are a lot of people in the stands that appreciate that a lot.
Coach, thanks for being with us today, and we appreciate your time.
Very good. Thank you, Rob.
A reminder, fans, the Bulldogs will be back at home for their final regular season games after this trip to Ohio this week. The Bulldogs will take on Wayne State, Findlay, and Grand Valley State. Be sure to visit ferrisstatebulldogs.com and keep up with all the latest on Ferris State athletics. This has been Ferris Sports Update on the Bulldog Sports Network.